Hey everybody, Kia
Hello.
ora friends.
What's
It's
up?
Naomi, the brick kahunista, and we have Remy, brick
Still
literacy.
just Remy. Yep,
Still just Remy,
that's
and
fine.
we're here, and it's Lego Masters Season 1, Episode 7,
Yes,
New
episode
Zealand.
7.
I'm a little slow today.
Aotearoa. That's okay.
Aotearoa, that's right.
Yes.
And we don't have a special guest today. I tried exhausting my network of Kiwi friends, and they all had a conflict today. But hello, Debo.
That's
Hi,
okay.
hi,
What's
hi
up,
there. How are you?
I just
Good
got a
to see you.
notification that we're starting. Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have a special guest today, but what we wanted to do is just kind of give you a lay of the land, literally, is that I have a map of New Zealand, and we could talk a little bit about where the contestants are from. And we had talked on one of the episodes about how most of the contestants, in fact, all of the contestants, were not in Auckland. And Auckland is the largest populated city there, and Wellington is the capital. And we have a nice little graphic that shows you where, or at least I can point out where some of our contestants are from, and also some of the guests too, who were on our show. But right now, it's interesting. We're now down to the last 3 episodes. This is episode 7. Then we have episode 8 and episode 9. And oh, good. Debo says he'll take a geography lesson any day. Awesome.
That's good because it's about to happen.
It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. And I also should mention that the title card that I created for this has that map. And I also, part of the reason why I have those cartoon characters is that I mentioned I have a small business in New Zealand, and I had an artist work with me to create some iconic characters that are iconic for New Zealand and Australia and some other things. And that's why I get to use them, and they're a legitimate business purpose, right?
Yes,
So,
this counts as a work meeting.
This is a work meeting, and this is something we don't get a lot of revenue from this, if any. In fact, it's YouTube. We don't get any revenue, 0, because I have 300 followers, something like that.
We get angry emails. We don't get revenue.
That's right. We get trolls and angry emails. So
and Reddit was like, "Hey, don't do that." But
we're clearly not exactly. What do you call them? The capitalistic with regard to this channel.
Yeah,
but we're here as educators, and as educators, we love to share our love of Lego as well as our love for anything having to do with culture too. And that's part of the reason why we chose Lego Masters New Zealand, is to be able to share the culture. And if you go through some of the playlist and you see some of the things that we worked on. And some of the guests and what we talked about. We went through quite a bit, I think, with regard to cultural icons that are in New Zealand. Also, the rivalry that New Zealand has versus Australia. The Tonga, is it Tonga that they have? Like this one is called a Manaya. It's just, I feel a strong attachment to New Zealand, and I'm really glad to be able to share that with all of you.
So it's been interesting learning about it, and it's legitimately a great season of Lego Masters just on its own.
Right.
So,
Oh, hey, look, Doc Sampson's here. Hey, Doc. Yes. In fact, we wanted to show you where Dunedin is on the map, and Baldwin Street. We don't have a picture of Baldwin Street, but I think we showed some when we had Rebecca Roos on. Or she actually posted some photos afterwards. Now that I think about it, we had talked about Baldwin Street on episode 3, and that's when we had Rebecca Roos and my friend Sean Farr, and we talked about Baldwin Street being the steepest street in New Zealand and in the world, actually. So, do we have that map to share, or are we having technical issues?
Yep.
There it is.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Why don't we start? I guess we could start at the Baldwin Street reference, since Debo brought that up. The Sandcrawler is looking pretty good. Yes, Doc Sampson, for those of you who aren't following him, he's been working on the Sandcrawler, I think, daily. Hey, Brickaroo Bonsai! Aloha hoy! How are you? Welcome. So if you take a look at Dunedin, which is right there in the South Island, and this particular map that I chose has the major roadways. So the other thing which is interesting is that on the far left where it says Milford Sound is a really popular destination, and it has just really pristine lakes and some other things. I have yet to get there. I have not gotten there yet. I did make it to Dunedin, though. That's the farthest south that I've been. And that's where Jake is from. And we'll get to meet with Jake in a couple weeks. And then also Rebecca said she went up Baldwin Street after talking with us on our show. Her and Jake did the climb. So that was really cool. So we're having a short geography lesson since we don't have a special guest with us today. And going farther up the island, we have Christchurch. And Christchurch is where the Lego Masters went to that Christchurch show just this last weekend. And that's also where Emily and Sarah are based, in Christchurch. And I've been to Christchurch. It's beautiful. And the other thing about Christchurch is that from season 1, they had that massive church. And the church is still under renovation because of the massive earthquake that took place there in Christchurch. But if you just look at the roads for a moment, you can see that Christchurch is one of the major points where you have the roads kind of convening, crisscrossing through there. And I've taken that road from Christchurch up to Kaikoura, up top. And if I remember right, Kai, I believe, is, I'm trying to remember, one of them is food and the other one's, I think, fish.
Oh.
Kaikoura. But it's well known for seafood. This is where I really wish Keen was on, or one of the New Zealanders, as they could correct me. And and then I took the road from Kaikoura up to Blenheim. And Kaikoura was also affected by a massive earthquake where it blocked the road going in and out of Kaikoura. So if you can imagine you're a tourist and you happen to go to Kaikoura, which is really beautiful, but then the major road was affected by an earthquake. So they had to have the National Navy come through. The New Zealand Navy had to come through and evacuate the people out of Kaikoura because there was no way for anything to go in and out from there. So that was an interesting little bit of history there. Yep. And then if we go up and to the left where you see Nelson, so Nelson, and on the other side of Nelson on the way to Collingwood is where Georgie and Andrew are from, Mapua, that we had talked about earlier. And I have taken the ferry boat between Picton and Wellington. And Wellington is on the far southern part of the North Island. And that's where Dan is from. So Dan Mulholland, who we spoke with last week. And you'll see Lower Hutt. It's not listed there, but Upper Hutt is also in that region. So the Wellington suburbs, that region there. And then moving farther up the Northern Island, we have Rotorua and Taupo. So Taupo, there's a there's a lake right there, Lake Taupo, and that region just north of there, Rotorua, that is where Kingy is from, my cousin Kingy. So Kingy Biddle was the first person on our show, and Rotorua is also a very large Maori community, and that's where I was adopted, is into his whānau. And farther north, you go up the island and you'll see Auckland. And Auckland is where everything was filmed. And they mentioned that Auckland is the largest populated city in New Zealand. So it's an amazing country, lots of things, amazing things to see. And I hope to get back down there again real soon. I was talking to a friend of mine the last time I was there was in 2017, so 5 years ago. And it's like with the pandemic and everything, I said, I got to get back sometime soon. Hi, Lena. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. So we just had a little tour of New Zealand, and I mentioned Steward Island. I forgot to mention that at the very beginning. So that little tiny island all the way at the bottom is Steward Island. So there's actually, a lot of people don't know that there's actually 3 islands that make up New Zealand, not just 2. And the penguin colonies are down there in Dunedin and Steward Island. And that's why one of the characters that I have had the artist draw was a yellow-eyed penguin. And that's something that you'll see as a recurring theme also with some of the builds that you saw in Lego Masters too. Cool.
Yeah, nice. Definitely like on the bucket list of places to visit.
It's amazing. I guess I if I really want to move there, I'm going to have to think of a strategy, an exit strategy to move out of the U.S. in order to be there. But it's a beautiful place, and if people have a chance to go, absolutely get down there. I wonder if Robin needs another judge or another set of judges.
You know, we're very judgmental. We
are very judgmental
here, and
and we have no certifications in being Lego certified professionals. We're just opinionated streamers.
We could probably create one online, you know, if we needs that. But
well, and speaking of Robin Sather, we'll just do a pre-announcement that Robin Sather will be our next guest next week. So we have Lego Master contestants and the Lego Master judge lined up for the next couple weeks, but we just couldn't get somebody today. So that's why we're just giving you a little tour of New Zealand, and hope many of you get a chance to go down there.
Yeah, so if any of you have any questions about the judging process, anything you ever wanted to ask Brickmasters Amy and Jamie, you know, DM us and we'll possibly ask him those questions.
Right, or you could put it in the chat while he's
or just put it in
the show.
Whatever's easier for you.
So today's episode 7, was the game challenge, where they had to put together a board game.
Yes, the roll the dice.
Now, is this a fun fact, Debo? Is he really a BattleBots announcer?
Is
that a fun fact, or is it? I don't know. I don't know if we can't validate that.
Nope. No.
At least I can't.
Hang on.
I don't know. I have met Robin. So just so you know, I know Robin from Sortlug and also from BrickCon 2020. Oh, at BrickCon 2020, he did a BattleBots announcement.
The Battle Bricks. Like they had the Battle Bricks, which is just the best thing ever.
Oh.
You know, I can't spend $250,000 on a BattleBots robot, but I could maybe spend $2,000 on a Battle Bricks robot. So
we need to have him do his announcer voice when he's on the show next week.
Yeah,
and what was great is I reached out to him on Facebook, and I told him about the show, and I said, I hope you remember me from Sortlug and BrickCon. And he said he did. So there you go. My 1 degree of separation to Robin.
No, but that's cool. I didn't realize he had a connection to that as well. Yeah, that Battle Bricks is a fun time. So if you haven't checked it out, it's on YouTube. Just search for Battle Bricks.
Well, it sounds like though he must have done a mini version at BrickCon 2020.
Yeah, that's the
online.
Like Battle Bricks is like the BattleBots version, just with Lego robots. So
okay, cool.
But yeah,
we'll have to ask him to do that.
I'm somehow more excited now.
Now, we also, before we get into the show, I think Remy has a special segment.
Oh yeah, this
that you wanted to share,
like an every week segment.
We'll for the next couple weeks, yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to share. Here's the Smudge Minute.
The smudge minute.
Smudge minute. And
I did not
Dan,
prompt him to do this
no,
because I love dogs, but
yeah,
Remy said I want to do a smudge minute. It's like,
yeah, we'll do
okay.
the smudge minute. As long as because Dan said last episode that that she Smudge had a specific paparazzo on the film crew, and you can really see this episode that they really got all the the low Smudge angles here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was just Smudge hanging
Well,
out.
she makes for good TV, right?
Yeah, like any kind of animal. Like, come on, it just it increases your ratings by 5 points or whatever, just automatically. And
She's
here she
adorable.
is, toward the end.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
cuddling with
chilling.
Dan. Oh.
But yeah, that is the Smudge minute. That's it.
It's okay. It was actually more like 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. We can go through the slideshow again if you want, but
no. It's like this the smudge in less than 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's adorable, and as Dan mentioned, it's the only time a dog has appeared on Lego Masters in the 20 some odd seasons in 13 countries, I think he said that it's appeared. The some version of Lego Masters.
It's way more countries than people think. It's a lot of not only European countries, but there's a Korean version which I'm trying to track down, and there's a lot of there's a bunch of South American versions as well. So
we might just have content all year round. All we have to do is just keep reviewing all the different versions, right?
Yeah. If the US gets pushed back, we'll go right
one
into
more time if it gets pushed. I hope it doesn't get pushed back again.
Netherlands or something.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, here's all right. There we go. One way that I share photos crashes my computer. The other way does not. So
yes, we were testing before the show.
Yeah,
it's like let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't get booted out. I think I got booted out too somehow
at any time. Yeah. But yeah, this episode was roll the dice, and they basically had 14 hours to create a board game. And the advantage that Jono and Dan got in the last episode for winning the monochrome challenge was that they got to know the brief ahead of time. And this was a big advantage. And they said that there was no hesitation. They immediately said, let's share it with everybody.
Right.
The episode played it up a little bit, but they said, let's share it with everybody. And then Robin immediately gave everyone the brief.
Which I think also is telling of the culture of Kiwis. They're just very generous and loving people. And it didn't surprise me that would happen, that they would just share it openly. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would have been so eager to share it if I were in their position. Just because, their skill earned them that advantage. They really knocked it out of the park with that build. So I don't know if I would have done so in their position. But
for the hanging challenge where didn't they get the extra brick, and didn't they get like extra 30 minutes where everybody else had to watch them? So they weren't hesitant to use that. They could have said, no, let everybody start along the same time.
Yeah. But, that's a little harder
competitive nature.
Split up.
That's true.
Than this. But, either way, big respect. But yeah, here's our dice to start the episode. These were brick built dice, obviously. And there's Di Robin, who emerged. So you can see how big those dice were. Yeah, I don't know internally if it's all Lego or if they just built it around like a box or something, but
we'll never know until we talk to Robin, because I think Robin built those.
Have to put it on the list.
Yeah,
Robin. I wonder if he'll be mad at us for suggesting, how dare we suggest that he used non-Lego items in a Lego build?
Well,
if no, our team.
a lot
the
of the
entire
builders, if they have to build something for outdoors, that they
Mhm.
also use craggle, right? They use craggle, and sometimes they use steel bars for reinforcement and such.
Right. Mhm.
So no, I don't think he'll be upset if we ask.
Well, we'll see. He may
Yeah.
end the interview right there and storm out, but probably not.
He's too nice. He wouldn't do that.
Anyway, but yeah, so yeah. Also, Andrew and Georgie had to surrender the power brick immediately. There's no more power brick.
Right.
But their advantage was that they got a helper for the first hour.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, in show business. They didn't say who it was right away. So everyone was like, "Well, who's it gonna be? Who's gonna
Who's
help
it
them?"
gonna be? It
And it
wasn't like
was,
Terry Crews, barreling through the
just
wall.
man, yeah, um, yeah. So they got Di to help them for the first hour, and
Right.
I
I
think
love
they
the
were,
overalls too that they
yeah,
put on him.
yeah. Di, he was ready to work. He was like, "Yeah,
He
let's
was
go.
like,
I've
"What do you
got
want me to
my
do?
overalls on."
Put me
And,
to
yeah,
work." I'm not sure if
um,
Georgie was the most excited about it though.
yeah. I don't think they were excited about it because he spent the previous 6 episodes basically being a clown and trying to distract everyone. Um, who was it? We all remember he kept scaring
Adam.
Adam. Yeah, he
Yeah.
kept scaring Adam that one episode. So
Well,
I
and then
understand why they were.
Georgie said that when he was asking about if they were going to use the power brick and you can
Mhm.
get more oatmeal or porridge,
Get
and
unlimited
she said
porridge.
that was only a fraction of how long he would do that. You imagine him going on and on and on
Mhm.
about that. So I can imagine Georgie's like, "Oh, great. We
Mhm.
get Di to help
Yeah.
us with." But
Um,
that was still fun.
but
Yeah.
it did turn out to be like a legitimate advantage because they got
Mhm.
to bounce ideas off his creativity. And this
Right.
shot says 25 minutes later, where Andrew was trying to explain the bill to Di, but I don't think he actually stood there for half the time. I think that's just an exaggeration. Um,
25 minutes later.
mhm. Yeah, because they were getting like hung up on like the rules and the very like small details. And I was like, no, don't focus on that. Just focus on how it looks and, building game pieces, basically. So,
Right.
um, yeah, he compared himself to a dishwasher manual. Like, nobody wants a dishwasher manual for Christmas until you have to repair a dishwasher. And they definitely had to repair a dishwasher.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So that was their advantage for the first hour. And let's
Now,
see. Oh,
can you zoom in on Andrew's shirt?
yeah. So that's Wananaki.
Actually, they pronounce WHA like an F sound. So it's Fananaki.
Fananaki. Oh, interesting.
Fananaki. Yeah. So maybe we'll have to go back to the map later.
Let's see.
I'll do some research on the side about Fananaki.
Wananaki.
So apparently
Yeah.
it's a campground, which would make
It
sense
looks
with the
like
VW bus.
yeah, the bus and the surfboards looks like a
Yeah.
relaxing place. But no, that's
Okay.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I catch on to these things. Oh, okay. Well, this will be good. When we go back to the map, it's like on the far north part of New
Mhm.
Zealand. Yeah, so good thing we got the map. It's in the
Yeah.
Whangarei district. Oh, I know exactly where this is. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Oh,
Thank you
it's
for
not
doing
going to
that.
show cities. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we
All right.
hadn't planned that. I was like, "Oh, what? Look at his shirt. He got to wear the
Yeah.
coolest shirts." I tell
Yeah,
you,
and
the
that's
Blimey
that's the
shirt,
kind
the
of thing that just
Fananaki shirt. Yeah.
if it doesn't say Blimey, it
No,
just went
the
right over
Blimey
my
shirt
head.
was great. I did look. I
Yeah.
couldn't find another one. I think they're no longer available.
Well, yeah, we'll just have to go to England and see if we can snag one. Um,
Yeah.
But anyway, here's some like behind the scenes footage. This is Glenn and Jake's
Mm-hmm.
build. I just thought it would be interesting to see a little bit of the process here, because this is how they made their structure with the walls that went up and down,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is the robot where the arms like opened and
Right.
closed the chest.
Yeah, Glenn and Jake really, for every challenge, there was some really clever use of movement. And if you can
Yeah,
zoom in a little bit, you'll see all the wires that are sticking out of that on the right.
yeah, they had a lot of movement really in this one.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can see that, yeah, they put a lot of planning into the builds.
Okay, and here's a little bit from Indra and Georgie in this internal structure. And this
Mm-hmm.
took them a while to get the double rockets that would go up and down. And I thought like making a vertical game, I thought was a really interesting way to tackle the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of that. And then Emily and Sarah's build was just so massive. They had so much ground to cover. And they also had a mechanism where this dragon would open its mouth and like the little wings would go up and down. But that kept breaking on them. And
Yeah.
it took them forever to get that sorted out.
I love their use of color. Every
Yeah.
challenge, they've really put a lot of bright, vibrant colors.
Mhm. And then finally, here's Dan and Jono building their tabletop game. And you can see Jono, like Dan mostly worked on this tower for the first part of the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jono, like he must have, played it down. I don't know how many base plates, but that's a lot of like work. That'll take a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
time. But it
It
looked good
reminds me
at
of
the end.
Mills, too. The
Mhm.
modular integrated landscaping system, where
Mhm.
they usually have 8 studs wide for rivers. And just, can you zoom in a little bit? I'm
Let's
wondering if
see.
it's similar as far as what he did for.
Um,
That
well,
might be Mills.
it might be Mills. Yeah.
That might be Mills because you notice, and what I'm looking at on the right, where the 2 plates meet, is
Hmm.
that dead center of 2 32 by 32 base plates on a Mills standard. So it's a base plate, brick plate. that, and then you have Technic, which connects it
Hmm.
together. That looks like that looks like 8 studs across.
Cool.
That could be
Yeah.
it. I have to
Yeah.
ask.
We will see.
So
That's the
Lena
kind of
says
question. Like, yeah.
that they're gonna maybe miss BrickCon because of the holiday rush. No,
Now, are you gonna have to work? It's no
that's
fun
a
working during the
bummer.
holidays.
I've already taken the time off. I've already asked for that Friday off for BrickCon.
But no, that's the kind of question that like only the super fans will ask. Like you'll go up to your favorite novelist and be like, "Hey, in book 4 of this, why did the character like go into the stables when they were like afraid of horses, like in book 3?" Like, and the author's like, "What? Oh, I didn't write that." Like, so I don't know if they'll remember, but we can definitely
Well, I
ask about
think.
the Mills
Oh, you mean
standard.
about the Mills plates? If I
Yeah,
can ask
yeah,
Jono about that,
yeah.
it
We
does.
could
I mean,
ask
it
them.
honestly, it looks like a
Mhm.
Mills standard, and
But yeah.
you can't tell from that photo, but I think when they compile it at the end, there's probably some Technic bricks holding it together.
Mhm. Yeah. We'll have to look closer at the completed build.
Yep.
We'll look at that right now. I couldn't remember what order they showed them in, but yeah, this is Battle Bricks, and so let's get into it. So let's see. Yeah, that looks like base plate, Technic. See the
Yeah.
technicals here and something else underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
the other
anyway.
thing about the Technic is you can put a pin to stud, and then you can cover up and make a nice little finished border. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say Mills.
Mills.
They built this on a Mills base plate structure. Yeah.
Yeah. So good times. But yeah, this was just an absolutely like beautiful tower and palace, or not palace, I'm not sure, but kind of battleground here between
It
these
reminded
steep.
me of Lord of the Rings,
Mhm.
the Eye of Sauron, right?
Okay. Yeah.
At the very top,
Hmm.
with that globe thing on the top, like it could be
Hmm.
looking around for you. Yeah.
Yeah, this was it wasn't just a straight like fantasy RPG. They tried to integrate like fantasy and technology for both of these sides basically.
Right.
So let's see. Here's this is the Steampunk Pirate
Mhm.
kind of team here, and you've got these elephants with these science gentlemen. Um, Not sure what they are, but it looks like there's some kind of
It's very steampunkish, but with
yeah.
elephants.
There's something powering this elephant here, this generator, which is
I think
neat.
Lena agrees with me about the eye of Sauron
Yeah.
at the top of that tower.
Hmm.
We'll have
And
to
then
ask Jono and Dan.
yeah, then these were the cyberpunk knights, kind of.
Mhm.
Although this chef, I'm wondering about this game piece here because it looks like there's a chef and he has sheep and looks like rats with him. So I really want to know where his role is in this army. It's very cool. Um,
Well, it could be that, you need to have a chef feeding the army, so maybe
mhm.
maybe that's what his job is. And sheep are very popular in New Zealand. They grow
That
a
that is
they
true.
grow a lot of or raise a lot of sheep.
Mhm. There's this kind of notebook, other game elements over here.
Mhm.
There's this
I loved this.
the notebook, yeah, and the pencil.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and there's some more of these steampunk kind of knights here. Let's see. There's another. I thought I had yeah. Here we go. These knights on the bikes were fun.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, this is just the basic motorcycle piece. Um, it's like one molded piece, and it has like a two-stud connection. And they built all this other stuff to connect to it. So that's pretty cool.
It's like they combine medieval and modern together for some of
Hmm.
their characters.
Yeah, and so here you can see the scale of it, how massive it was.
Mhm.
Um, and it looks like these were like extra game board pieces that you could maybe swap in and out. Um, and here's another callback to Smudge's bed, which is fun.
The Smudge Minute continues.
Yeah, it
And
continues.
we should note that Smudge did not appear during the judging. So I
No,
think she was
yeah.
always whisked away in the back during the judging portions, but
Mhm.
during the builds, she was there.
Mhm. Yeah, and finally, here's this steampunk lion here, which I
Right.
I thought this was very cute for some reason. It's a lion with two basically like rocket launchers strapped to it, and I was like, oh, that's adorable.
It's the ingots.
So
It's the gold
yeah, the
ingots that
ingots.
really make it.
Um,
Those little details are so important.
mhm.
So we
But
know what character you would pick if you were to play this game.
yeah, I would definitely pick the lion.
You'd pick the
Um,
lion. I'd probably pick the
but
elephant.
elephant.
The
Yeah, the
elephant
elephant
characters with the
is
steampunk
also pretty sweet.
top hat guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
those ones.
the it looks
Those
like they have
elephants.
potions in the side pouches here.
Yeah, I love
So
that
yeah, this was.
trans neon green that they used.
Mhm.
It kind of
Um,
reminds me of the hidden side. It's as if
yeah.
they went back to the hidden side and got the
Mhm.
potion and they got those trans neon green elements because you can even see the
Mhm.
back elephant. It really pops. Debo agrees with
Yeah,
you. Lion is
great.
boss.
Yeah, but yeah, even the one in the background, it's like easily recognizable.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, this was a lot of detail in 14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So great job, Dan and John.
Loved it.
I think that's all.
And like I
we
said, I
have.
think the Mills base plates.
Mhm. There's some kind of button here, but we'll just have to wonder what the button was for. Okay. So now here's Andrew and Georgie, and they came up with Spaced Oat. And like I really like the way that they just went wild with the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they asked each other what they were passionate about, and Andrew said space, and Georgie said porridge. So here we are. And Devo is lying about it, Lena. Okay, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I saw that. we got a lot of puntastic people in the chat.
But yeah,
Now,
so
did
yeah,
you find the chameleon for this one?
yeah, the chameleons are everywhere in this one. Let's see. Yeah, there they are.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just all out in the open here.
that's because they were going through withdrawals for having to hide it in the monochrome challenge.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to tell, with just pictures. But the platforms like moved up and down,
Mm-hmm.
and all the planets on the top would spin. Excuse me. And these there were some lights that came up
Mm-hmm.
that would light up. So
I love
yeah,
the
really,
color palette too,
yeah.
with all the
It's
primary
very
colors. Mm-hmm.
it's very like reminiscent of classic space with the gray and the blue and a little bit of yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here's some
And
kind
the
of
kind of the
aliens on
roller
these tracks
coaster
here.
elements too.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was really cool the way that they did get these to match up when the ships would be at their peak and at their lowest point. And again, here's our chameleons. So yeah, with this game, you could end up in an alien's mouth here, the alien eating the porridge.
I'm
And
sorry,
you
I'm
could
laughing.
also
Is that
end
there's
up
so
in the
many puns in
saucepan.
the
Yeah,
chat right now.
yeah, it's a real. I know I'm gonna regret this, but yeah, I see a lot of people taking pride in their lion puns right now.
Oh, yes, yes. It's a very prideful moment now, isn't it?
Too much pride, y'all. But that's okay. But yeah, you could end up in a saucepan and or end up on these planets here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
think the
again,
playfulness of
mhm,
spaced oat.
yeah,
Or maybe they were doing a play on Robin's accent too, being Canadian,
that's
being
true.
spaced out.
Yeah, maybe he said what said something about being spaced out, and
Yes.
they were like,
No, it was a
but yeah,
very
there's
clever play on words.
yeah, very cool build.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like a lot of fun. Um, yeah, just that mechanism. I think they lost a lot of time on that mechanism. Uh, so that was the only drawback, really.
Right.
But yeah, good job. Um, yeah, that's it for Spaced Out. And now we get to. They initially called it Save the World. This is Glenn and Jake's, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn and Jake's Save the World, and this is what it became is Pro Tour by Blammo. And I don't know if it means anything other than I think Dan and John talked about this on an earlier like chat
Mm-hmm.
where they put the number on the ship because it was easy to make in Lego.
Right. Dan
And
Dan mentioned that for I think it was the ship,
yeah,
the hanging ship is
yeah,
L110, I think. And that's
yeah,
because
something
it's
like
easy
that.
to make. But
Yep.
I think there's a meaning behind this. It says Pro Tour, right?
Hmm. Yeah, Pro
Yeah.
Tour.
We'll ask.
Um,
So they're going to be our guests in 2 weeks. Jake and Glenn. They'll be on in 2 weeks' time.
I'm guessing it's something to do with protons, but I'm not positive. Thank you. I'll see myself out. Anyway,
maybe.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Blammo is either, aside from just a kind of reference to like an early '80s like game company. But that was a fun touch. And
Yeah.
this build was cool because you almost don't notice the burps, like with all the other stuff going on. It's
True.
really like a great use of rock pieces here.
Yeah. And I love the robot, of course.
Yes. Yeah, so here's the robot. You can see it's with it closed, and then opening the chest to reveal a giant laser, as one does. Let's see.
You can't be a robot without a laser.
No, it's against the 3 laws of robotics.
Right.
You have to have a laser.
Must have laser.
Yeah, and here's some of the game pieces, and I really like the way that they arrange the game pieces. I have a slide on that later, but yeah, the whole environment, like it's very clear that there are like very clear spaces like in the clutter. Blammo is a phrase from Metalocalypse. I did not know that. And I haven't seen that show in forever. But okay.
This is why we need people in the chat to give us context. Now, the other thing about this, which I thought was interesting, is that the terrain almost had an underwater, kind of above water. I mean, it could be either, right? Just the way they designed it. I thought it was
like
very
clever. Swampy.
Yeah, swampy, seaweed kind of, yeah. It provided a lot of nice organic texture compared to the squareness of the robot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is like a creature or some other kind of robot obstacle. But it's on a spot, so I assume it's like something a game piece would have to interact with or overcome. But this thing spun around this whole structure here, so that was kind of neat. Really like so much movement in this one. And let's see here. You can see the walls here. The walls here move up and down, and like other walls would come out at the same time. Yeah, just really cool overall. Let's see. Oh, here's another. I guess this is some sort of guard robot.
I think this was a beautiful setup, but to me it wasn't clear that it was a game. As far as the previous ones we've seen where they had pieces and distinct characters, this one I didn't see as much of the game part of it.
They definitely had fewer pieces, like fewer like buttons and like the journal and the dice and whatnot. But let's see. Yeah, they basically only had the spinner. And then they had the characters. Hang on, let me find the characters. Sorry.
I mean, the pads are nice because the pads kind of give you a clear walkway of where to go. But from a distance, you didn't really see it necessarily as a game.
The only like what I did like, hello Nora, welcome to the stream.
So for those of you who don't see it, here's the chat. So apparently Nora's been on the top of the keyboard.
3+0
I don't know
function.
if that means she approves or disapproves.
Yeah. we'll have to we'll have to have her on the show and ask then. But these little character like mounts are like very smart, because like you can look at it and I can tell, okay, this character is good in this attribute. This one is like more well-rounded. This is how much life they have. And like just to convey that kind of complex information in
like a
like a very
role-playing
simple game. Yeah, this is more like a role-playing game.
Right.
I thought that was really, really smart. And that's probably why they don't have too many other like dice and cards and whatever elements.
Yeah, that could be it.
But yeah, here's a little bit more of our like basically underwater area. It's like some sort of ruin, and yeah, just swamp area. Again, I like these little Technic bits that I don't know if I have any of those in white. But just using them as covers for like reads is very fun. And they even made a start, button here. So you know where to start. But yeah, this was Pro Tour, aka Save the World.
Yeah, I think now that I've seen it more close up too, I can see it better as a game.
Yeah, because it does get a little bit cluttered kind of on the second island a little bit, but there's still these like very basic game tiles, so that's helpful. Okay. All right, but yeah, here's Pro Tour.
Yep.
That's it.
And then we have the final build.
Final build is Don't Wake the Dragon. Man,
Don't wake the dragon.
I love this build so much. I can't even tell you how much I loved it. It was so great. It's like Don't Wake the Dragon. Like you immediately know what that game is. You you assume you're going to be trying to take something from a dragon.
You just don't wake it up.
Yeah, would open its mouth, and these things would move. And this is the angle that they chose to show it. Like they didn't give us like a straight on angle for this one. So this is what we get. But yeah, here's our dragon. You can see the jewels in the mouth.
Right.
And
it's so cute.
Yeah.
It's sleeping. Don't wake the dragon.
Yeah.
It might get upset.
You can see this. It kind of started on a pathway here, but I just think that mechanism like took so much time, and it just kept breaking, and it broke at the end, and they had to take like with like an hour or two left, it broke again, and they had to take the whole thing apart and put it back together. But yeah, here's our other game elements, these wands, and I guess you start with some crystals. And they also had a few other like creatures hidden in the build, like here's a swan.
I love the trees, how they did those trees.
Yeah, the trees were very cool.
Yeah, can you zoom in a little bit on the trunks?
Yeah, kind of. They look like those 1x2s where it's like bowed in the middle, like the log cabin kind of look.
Like the palisade bricks,
yeah, the palisade. I don't know the technical term.
I also like their use of color for the branches, where they mixed it up with green and maroon and blue, I think.
Yeah, here's kind of a better
very
overall
colorful
angle. They really they didn't linger on this build or show all the angles the way they did some of the other ones, which was too bad, because there's like a lot going on near this wishing well and in this forest area, and there's even like a mushroom forest area back here.
Oh wow.
Palisade.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. So we'll try to get here's our dice. We'll try to get they made a timer, which was just a brilliant timer. Like you could tell exactly how much time is left on this hourglass. And yeah, here's his tower. Let me see what other shots. Okay, here's another shot of the forest.
Yeah, I love that forest.
Excuse me. Yeah, I really enjoy it as well. Here's another little creature that they made with this. This
So
was kind of
adorable.
like this was also like a special flower, but they didn't really highlight it. So this had some function, but we just don't know what it is. And then finally, here's our troll near this bridge.
Like troll on the bridge.
Yeah,
it's a very Minecraft looking troll.
Yeah. But I can definitely see you like maybe entering the game over the bridge and having to navigate the tail and go around and some of this fun stuff. But yeah, there's Don't Wake the Dragon, and yeah, their only real criticism or Robin's was that like there was a lot of gray left, and I think it just came down to time. And if that mechanism hadn't insisted on breaking 3 or 4 times, I think they would have gotten
they had
there.
a hard time with that. But they've always been ambitious with every
Yeah.
challenge. Just like the octopus that they put on the barbecue, that it was challenging and it was falling apart. And then the mermaid that they did as well. Yeah. So it's like they push the envelope all the time.
But yeah, and I love big creatures. Sometimes big creatures go horribly wrong and you can't recover, or it's very difficult.
It's very, very bad.
Yeah, but I always appreciate the big swing. So, yeah. So this was still my favorite build out of the week. But yeah, the winner, drum roll. If you didn't notice that I already ruined it.
Spoiler alert.
It was Glenn and Jake. Yes, Pro Tour. Also a very amazing build. Like
yes,
just a great game. That was really cool.
Well, their technical ability with movement is, every week they just really pushed it, and you can tell they're just amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, great game. And for winning, they got a free pass like right to the finals, so they don't even have to build next episode.
Yeah, the next episode they were just like, okay, see ya.
Wait, are they coming on next episode or the finale?
Well, the next episode's episode 8, so they didn't have to build in episode 8. Yeah. So spoiler alert, essentially next week you get a small shot of Jake and Glenn, just all the candidates come out, and then they say, okay, you got to pass, so see ya. They just left.
Yeah, for a moment I couldn't remember. I thought we had made a horrible scheduling error, but we didn't.
No. We're still good. We're still good. Okay. No, we have next week is going to be Robin, and we could ask that question too about having a team, just since they have a pass for the finals, they just let them just not have to build. I think some of the other episodes in other countries, they still build, but they know that they have a pass, so they don't have to stress, right? But they just said, no, you don't have to build, just go. Enjoy their time. Take a tour of Auckland.
Like you would think that you would maybe like want to build, knowing that there's no pressure. But also, I guess
that's why it was kind of surprising. But we'll talk more about that next week with Robin when he's here.
Yeah, maybe it's they don't want him to like take bricks out of the brick pick.
That could be it.
Yeah, it's. I wonder how many bricks you would have to really like take out of the brick pit to like handicap another team. It doesn't seem possible, but.
Well, Georgie kind of mentioned that with the pink. When they were making the pig,
if 2 people want to build pigs,
it's a good thing none of the other teams really needed the pink, because they exhausted all the pink plates, all the pink bricks, and that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. So congratulations to Jake and Glenn for this.
Jake, yeah, and just a really, really fun episode overall. This was, I don't think they've done this challenge in other seasons before, at least.
Right. So it was different in that regard as well. So if we can bring up the map again, we'll show you where Funanaki is. Which is kind of cool because if you think about, we'll have to go back to some of the other episodes. If Andrew was like the walking billboard for different things of New Zealand, whether it was Blimey or Funanaki campground, and it would be kind of cool if he goes to Funanaki and they say, could you be our spokesperson now? Okay, so if you zoom in at the very, very top of the New Zealand island, go all the way to the top, and on the right side, zoom in a little bit more. And where it says Whangarei on the right, it's close to Whangarei. So as I mentioned earlier, PHA is pronounced as a F sound. So Funanaki is like really close to that part of, I'm just trying to see if I have a reference of Funanaki to Whangarei, but so apparently it's well known as a campground, that area. And I haven't been that far north, but it's I have been to Whangarei. And in the behind the scenes right now, I'm looking at how far Funanaki is from Whangarei.
No, this is good information. Now, if you as a tourist go over there and you're like, excuse me, where is Whangarei? Where is it?
It's not Whangarei, it's Whangarei. Actually, so I'm looking right now.
Where's Whangarei?
Should I share my screen for this one? I wonder if I should share my screen.
I can take this down.
Yeah, I have to get back to. Was I on Google Maps? I think I was on Google Maps. There we go. Okay, so here, let me share my screen for a moment. And you can see Whangarei. All right. So Funanaki is right here. So it's this like campground area with really close to the coast. Yeah, on the far eastern coast of that North Jut. And Whangarei here, I've been to Whangarei, and then I'm trying to remember where Bay of Islands is. Let me see if I can scroll out a little bit.
Is that the one in the north?
The
very
Whangarei, you mean?
No, the Bay of Islands.
Bay of Islands is actually, I want to say, up this way. I'm looking for a town called Paihia. There it is. Okay, so here's Paihia. So it's actually pretty close to Paihia and Keri. This area right here, if you go to Paihia, this is where the treaty was signed. Remember when I was talking about the first episode, how I would have liked to have seen the house where the treaty was signed? And I want to say, let's see, where is this? Or Paihia. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit.
There it is.
Yeah, there's this resort here. I'm trying to remember where did I stay when I was there? There is I want to say it's right up here in this area, but you can actually go to the house where the treaty was signed. And it's like a walking path right from the hotel. And I'm trying to find the hotel. Okay. Well, anyway, you get the idea.
Is it in use today as anything aside from like this historical?
Well, it's not in. It's a tourist attraction, but it's not.
It's not like a seat of government.
It's in use as a place to sign treaties anymore.
Unfortunate.
It might be. I might have stayed at this hotel. I'm trying to remember which hotel I stayed at. But anyway, I was in Paihia, and then from the hotel, you could actually walk to the park where the house was. So I'm going to stop sharing this. But yeah, it's a really amazing place to be. And I'm even considering that maybe since their seasons are in reverse. So right now it's summer for us, but it's extremely cold right now in the southern hemisphere. So if I were to vacation there, it would probably be around New Year's time, December. So because they always have these things like if you celebrate Christmas, then they have Santa on the beach because it's always hot for them for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
that
yeah,
is
just
the end of our episode.
that's it. It's getting shorter,
It was
unfortunately.
shorter because we have fewer
Yeah.
teams and we didn't have a special guest today. It was just us. Hopefully you still enjoyed this. And I know that for those of you who like this, please like and subscribe to the stream if you enjoyed this. And
Yes.
as you know, Brick Literacy is on Instagram. You can follow him there. And then if you want to send me snail mail, the Brickanista Broadcast Network, P.O. Box 31956, Seattle, Washington, 98103. And tomorrow on my episode, I will be opening a couple things. They won't be open on camera because I want to respect the privacy of people. But I have some Pick-a-Brick that is coming my way.
Ooh.
So I'll probably open it first and then just show the contents of the box. And then the other thing that I just got back was that I asked Jacqueline Sanchez, who does jewelry. I have my little panda, my little chubbin panda, and so she made it into a little charm. So don't be
Oh, that's cool.
surprised if in future episodes, instead of this, I may be wearing my little panda. She drilled a hole in his head, poor thing. But I'll have him with me all the time, quite a bit. So great show. Thank you, Debo. Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Steve.
We were scrambling because I said I've asked every Kiwi friend I know and they're not available. So I said, okay, let's put a map up. We could talk about the country a little bit. So,
That's fine.
Yeah.
We're on in the middle of the workday over there. So it's
That's
okay if
true.
people can't
That's
get time
true.
off.
And it was interesting. One of the people I wanted to be on the show, Alan Chisholm, is an extremely witty guy, and he goes, "Of course, you schedule it right during a meeting that I have."
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Don't blame us. Blame the Fox Network.
Yeah, but
they made us
actually,
do
we have
this.
two special guests. Speaking of which, so we have Robin, who was on the show, and then another friend of mine, Rob Whiteman, will be on the show next week. Who lives in New Zealand. He's British originally. He's just like Andrew with the Andrew and Georgie team, but he lives in New Zealand. And since I have to leave early because next week will be the board meeting for my job, what he'll do is he'll be helping out Remy with the review of the show. So we'll have two special guests next week.
Good times.
You won't be alone, Remy. We're not gonna. I got you covered.
Okay. I mean,
so anyway,
it'll
thanks
be fine.
everybody.
Yeah.
And as they say on the Brickanista Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. And in Kiwi, it's Namihi, Ngamihi. Namihi.
Namihi.